Can add it on, yeah.
So you seconded Peter, we'll have discussion, add that as Mr. Bevad being the chairman. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Have fun.
Thank you.
I'm asking the board to, I'm
I
gonna
didn't
have a big scramble on Friday, if that's all right, behind the rec department.
Chamber of Commerce would be the one to deal with for the Pride Day events. I don't know if Wayne's working with them this year
Yes,
too.
I already talked to Wayne about that. I'm just asking the board if that.
I don't
We
have
already
an
proved
issue.
it, it's part of our insurance binding.
Cool.
It's fine with us. For me.
Thank you.
Kind of a lean year, I might enter into it.
So Robbie, it will be up to you to organize your first
See
meeting
that?
because we discussed before.
I might even
Right,
throw,
okay.
I might even throw myself into that one.
Get the members in here to the town clerk's office to sign their appointments, to be sworn in.
Okay.
Okay?
Good job.
Is there a deadline for that?
Well, you can't have a meeting until everybody gets sworn in.
Right, but is there a deadline? A week?
Once everyone gets signed in, then you can call your first meeting. or
Yeah.
If you're
Okay.
looking to have it televised, just make contact with the cable man and go from there. Good job, though. You started from nothing, and now we're almost full circle once you have your first meeting.
Thank you.
Moving on to policies for the controlled substance. This is gonna be anybody that drives all the commercial equipment in town, highway. New policy, it seemed pretty boilerplate.
Yeah, it is pretty boilerplate. This was brought to my attention.
Did we not have anything at all?
We had a very vague
Yeah.
comment in our personnel policy,
Yeah.
but it didn't cover all this information, which is what DOT is recommending now, that all towns have their own policy.
Yep. Yep.
The only thing I would like to see changed on that is to, instead of having individuals' names, have positions, because instead of change, hopefully you folks will be staying on for a long time.
Oh, as far as
As
Tony's,
far
cell-
as
I got
children
found that Tony's
go,
phone,
and
we
just
got the
have
cell
the
phone still
administrator,
now.
have the administrator, or,
I
and
know,
the,
because they have to call somebody for.
Who is the person in charge of implementing it all?
You,
I would say the board.
the selectmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're
Or
gonna
as
call
far as
and,
when they get tested and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
the-
We have a company through Laconia Regional Hospital.
yeah, but they're calling you, or are they calling the, person that administrates the benefits and everything else?
To set up for the screening.
Yeah, they say we want so-and-so.
They
in
generally
30
send a
minutes.
letter, and then they say that somebody's due,
You know,
and then
To
we,
us.
and to us,
Yeah.
and then we call we check when somebody's, make sure nobody's gonna be on vacation,
yeah, yeah.
and we don't let them know until that day.
How much notice are they giving you in the letter?
Could be, well, actually, what they say in the letter is it's time for
Time for
sex
some-
for
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
round, we've chosen these three people.
individuals, yeah.
And then we actually initiate a conversation with them, they come out on site. So, we kind of wait to hear from them. He might come out, he might say, I'm gonna be out in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
on Tuesday. He might say, I'll be out on, June 6th. So it could be anywhere from a couple of weeks
The
to,
person that does the testing comes here?
Right.
We don't
Yes.
have to send them to it?
No.
Oh.
they come here.
They come
Yeah, because they just call us up and say, yeah, we want so-and-so down here in 2 hours.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
So they come here, that's amazing.
yeah, they come here and, we call them
Mm-hmm.
when we know. So, yeah, I mean, is that something you wanna do, is change it to be the position and not the name? Doesn't,
Well, I think they're looking for your
they are looking for us.
24-hour contact number, so maybe it's just something that we need to update
As things change.
as things
Is it
change.
something
Good way to word it.
the next administrator would have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm good with that, as long as,
I think you'd be here longer than us, so. Yeah, me. I'll make a motion to accept the policy.
second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Public comment number 2?
About the landfill, you have the CRF.
Yeah. Oh,
I was looking at the wrong DOT thing. Thank you, Ralph, for correcting me.
We did it last time.
Tonight. Landfill closure, capital reserve expenditure. CE2 invoice on that. $2,150 for the monitoring in the first 2 quarters.
I'll move the 2150.
I'll second it. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. DOT streetlight removal. Did we have this on the agenda last time? Or is this the second letter or just the first letter?
I think we may have scanned it and sent it to you when we got it.
Yeah,
And then we put it
yeah.
on the agenda.
Because I was looking at the letter to see which ones they were talking about.
Yeah,
So
this is the same.
they're doing the same thing we had done, looking at the streetlights, seeing if there's any that are unnecessary for safety. And they'll keep us updated on if there's any to be removed. Hopefully, they'll tell us.
Yeah, they'll schedule a meeting with you, so.
We'll try the public comment number 2 again. Jerry?
Are you guys coming with the MRI study, anything on that yet, or is that still something that they're gonna compile the information and give you a report, or?
I know they're in multiple departments at this time. I'm still having trouble filling out the study. I'm gonna have to do it in paper and not the computer, I guess. But I've gotten a lot of feedback from different employees and people on different committees and stuff like that that have all filled out the survey. Have you guys all filled out your survey?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, Ralph, you don't fill out a survey?
Haven't seen it yet.
It's on the town website.
On the pay channel,
Click.
on the
Yeah,
pay channel, on the bulletin board, the selectmen are looking
They've done
for
4
it.
departments so far,
Yeah,
so.
well, I knew you had changed things at the highway department and, you know, got some trucks and repairs, and I didn't know if that was something that entered into those decisions, if they were part of that, or if that's something you guys did, you know, unilaterally, or something you were gonna do anyway, or?
It would be suggested that if you do open up the survey, that maybe print it out and read it at first and get up some of your answers, because
yeah.
as Ken said, I mean, I opened it up 2 different times, I got doing something and you cannot save it. It's
Yeah.
fill it out and it gets submitted. I mean, you cannot submit it, but everything you fill up to that point gets lost in space.
Yeah.
So I would make a point of printing it out first, reviewing it, getting some of your answers in line, and going back to it on the web and filing it.
I'm glad I waited, thank you.
Liaison reports.
Let's see, the Heritage Commission. You might remember they were going to have a tour of the mill sites. Very successful event. They had 48 people show up for that one. They took them to various mill sites in the area, and it was a great day. They made some money on that one. They did a lot of work. Everybody down there did lunches, put together lunches, I think 50 lunches for people and stuff. And it was a very successful day. And we've got the Freight House down there. They're looking to get that going. They're trying to build a small train set inside of there and a display. And they're also looking to get a heating and cooling system installed in that building so that some of the artifacts that they will have in there are temperature sensitive, so that they can keep an even keel on that. Also, let me see, there's a special one here. I gotta get down to that one. And I'm gonna read this one verbatim. Yesterday, Wakefield Heritage Commission, and this was sent to me by Pam, was honored at the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance 2012 Annual Achievement Award Ceremony at the historic Concord City Auditorium. The New Hampshire Preservation Alliance uses this annual opportunity to recognize outstanding projects and people, offer thanks and inspire others. 8 different awards were given. The Commission received the award for Outstanding Planning, Education, and Advocacy. A slideshow depicting Wakefield Heritage Commission's many successful projects was presented and a reception followed. The Wakefield Heritage Commission has received support letters from Acton, Wakefield, and the New Hampshire DES to nominate the canal and bridge to the National Register. Moving on to a different subject here, sorry. Pam has received word from the Park Service that as long as we have the majority of the owners supporting, she can apply for the grant. She will be submitting the grant application for next week's deadline. The commission is starting a capital campaign for the completion of the restoration of the Heritage Center. Bids are now open for the heating and AC for the freight house that I mentioned a few minutes earlier. They're looking to receive bids on this. And the Union Railroad Station will formally be opening for the season on June 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And please, anybody who wants to get down there, there's a lot of nice stuff. They've done some great work in that building. The Conservation Commission, I wasn't at the last meeting, but Ralph, I'm sure they discussed Pride Day, or maybe you weren't there?
No, I think there was one on the 30th and I did miss.
Okay, I'm sure that, I know that the campership program, they're going to have a tent out here, probably selling whoopie pies again, I believe. They'll probably have a yard sale set up, and all the monies from this go to help support some of these kids going to this camp that we send them to each summer. The Conservation Commission will have a tent out here on Pride Day as well, giving away trees as we usually do, and letting you know what's going on in our world. And pretty much, Ken was in here earlier, we talked, about the park and the skateboard park and the beach. And that's about it for my reports.
Mine was pretty much covered with Parks and Rec in here. The only thing I wanted to correct was the Pride Day is on schedule, and the theme it's been changed to appreciation of our nation, correct? And it was appreciation of a nation when I said last time, but it's our nation. I did go to the Eagle Scout ceremony for Graham Castlebit. I can't Castlebit. And it went over very well. It was a great success.
Yeah, it was all good.
I was more nervous than the kids were, but it went over very well, and I was very proud of them.
It's a big accomplishment.
Yes, and there's 4 more, I do believe, that are on their way back to be Eagle Scouts also. The planning board was very short and sweet. There was really nothing on that, but we've got a tremendous schedule ahead of us in the next at our next meeting. We did decide that sometime next month we're going to go up on Route 16 and do a workshop to just look at Route 16 and see where the most feasible areas would be to have some kind of commercial setting up there. There was no zoning board or anything like that. I actually had a very easy 2 weeks.
You riding up and down Route 16 or walking?
I'm hoping that we get at least a taxi.
I would hope so. Don't slow down out there.
No.
WPI, we're still looking at putting the bid package together for the sprinklers and upstairs, working with the Heritage Commission. We've got a couple of different consultants working on it also, looking at keeping it historical, but yet modernizing it so the upstairs can be used fully functionable eventually, hopefully someday. Tom, while we have you here, how are you making out down in Union at the Resource Center?
For the sprinklers, almost all in. On the first floor, it's all in.
Yeah.
The water tanks are in the basement. They haven't installed the pump yet. And the renovations upstairs, the elevator shaft's just about all done. And the elevator is going to be ordered as soon as it's done. It needs to be measured up and made sure before they build it. So we're about probably 4 weeks away from having an elevator in there.
Yep.
Maybe a month and a half.
Do you think you're gonna try to put more tenants in, or?
It's going to be a little while before we get a few offices done. We're
Yeah.
having a little bit of trouble getting donations of the material.
Yeah.
We got plenty of volunteer labor helping us, but material's been a little tough to get.
You tried the big chain stores?
Yeah, I have. We've sent letters to big chain stores.
Yeah.
I've used some of my contacts, and they're willing to volunteer.
Yeah.
You know, a group of people from Home Depot would help us out. Same with Lowe's.
Yeah.
They'll come and help us, but corporate won't let them give us any material.
Yeah. It's a tough time.
Middleton Building Supply, I mean, I bought some material for the first portion of the elevator shaft and the floor upstairs, so the floor had to be lowered down to the height of the hall. And they at least gave it to me at cost, so
Yeah.
they did help us, somewhat there. So, but the board's ready to buy the material because we want the elevator in. I mean, we have the money for the elevator. We didn't really want to use the money that we have for the elevator shaft. We were hoping we could get that donated, but we're going to have to use that money because we got to get the elevator in. We may not be able to do the sprinkle in the or in the offices that we wanted upstairs, even though we have that money, because we don't have the money to finish the offices, so we can't put piping up there if we're not gonna heat it. But all the first floor heating will be done, all the detection will be done, and the new fire alarm, so it should all be done within a month and a half.
Excellent work.
Have you thought about maybe putting out a list of things that you might need? Because like myself as a contractor, I've got a tent full, I've got a garage full of miscellaneous stuff, and I was in my storage shed the other day I've had for 18 years, and there's things in there that I hated to throw away the other day, and I'm throwing away stuff that is just good. But I'm under the influence of my wife to get rid of things. So I'm just thinking if you had some kind of list, put it out maybe to a contractor list to people, and you might find that some of that stuff, you know, even if it is 6 2x6s, you know, I could definitely come up with a lot of miscellaneous stuff. And you know as well as I that you might have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff under a tap on a piece of.
But you'd need, instead of having a dump off,
Sure.
A list would be
Sure,
able to be much better.
Yeah, I'll do up that. I did do a pretty specific list. I have one right now that I tried for Home Depot and Lowe's. So,
I mean, because
So
even if it was a few
list
pieces
up here.
from everybody,
yeah,
it could easily be done.
sure.
Cool. Administrator update.
I have the lease for the food pantry land. It was a 99-year lease, which needs to be signed. The food pantry has signed it.
Were they giving us an updated plan? Because the last plan I saw, there we go.
That one.
Yes. I'm assuming the shaded area is less than an acre? I think that's how it worked, right? It was an acre?
I think it
for
was a little
release?
less, yeah.
For some reason I thought the access was from the state driveway and it's from the town.
It's from the town side, yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Looks big. Looks like it'll serve its purpose. I think it's gonna be a good spot.
Better than the transfer station.
Hmm.
And speaking of the transfer station, I would maybe talk to Warren about the paper, the process for when you throw paper away. Do you use the dump?
I don't.
No.
Well, I don't get the opportunity to go there to use it, but.
Yeah, you just dump your paper into an opened dumpster, and it just blows right across. I mean, we need to take a look at that, and it wouldn't hurt to fix the entrance a little bit.
Well, I've talked to him about that down there, Ken.
The
As far as
paper or the entrance?
all of the above.
Yeah, I know. That's why I think it's fixed as well as it is.
First of all, I thought that the cardboard was at the wrong end of the whole
Yeah,
process.
Mark's always said that too.
Everybody always puts their heavy stuff on top of their cardboard, so that should be the thing you unload last, not
Yeah.
first, because then you gotta dig through all your stuff. And I've mentioned to Warren before in the past about maybe reversing the traffic pattern to have it come around and go the opposite way. And he was unsure about having the cars
Crisscross,
crossing,
yeah.
but if they're going slow, I mean, what's the problem?
Well,
Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
yeah.
And he had just painted lanes down here, so he didn't
Yeah.
want to do anything yet. The other thing was we talked about with the cardboard was just putting up a wood wall
That's what I thought, a fence.
You know, just something, a windbreak on one side of it. At the, you know, the predominant winds come out of the northwest from the Moose Mountain area. And if you could just put up a windbreak on one side of it, it would probably solve most of the problem.
Yeah, just a fence.
Yeah.
Some sort of a fence.
A wood fence to kind of buffer the wind and send the wind in a different, you know, direction.
What if it was on the, compactor side of those trailers, those box trailers?
We've talked about that too, but he has problems with the wall down there and stuff, and we've got to talk. I went down there this weekend and asked him to put together a plan. I know we're a long way from budget season,
Yeah.
but I said, you know what, it never hurts to get something going early, so let's get things going and talk about what our needs are down there.
Exactly. Because you got to start early, or
Start
it's all
early,
of a
we'll
sudden.
take some photographs, we'll give the selectmen and the budget committee some time to digest the material and
Yep.
see what's what. And so I've asked for that. And so he said there's a wall down there that's failing that needs to be, and that's down near the cardboard bin.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can at the same time swap some things around, reposition things. But, you know, want to look at what he needs for his equipment needs, for his, you know, general safety in the place. He also talked about one of my pet peeves. I don't know if you're on the Conservation Commission, but I've chatted about it many times. That oil storage bin. I mean, who are we kidding? There's so many cracks in that concrete. If you think the oil's going to stay in there if it spills.
It's
I
a
mean,
plastic unit in the thing, right?
There's a plastic
Yeah.
unit in there, but then they used a portion, I think, of a septic tank.
Yeah.
And it's got cracks and there's some holes. And
Just
it's,
replace the half a tank then.
we need to do something in there. We'll probably replace another, put another tank in there, half a tank.
Yeah.
And he was thinking it needed to be a little bit bigger than that. So I think the oil building there, whatever, waste oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to address that kind of quickly because of the environmental hazards.
Oh, we can look at the gallonage, how much he's taking in, because there's so many people that burn it. It was a big deal to get rid of it years ago, but now it's like the vegetable oil. Everybody wants it, so.
But they don't want that, because I brought that up in the past, and they don't want it because people tend to dump antifreeze and
Gasoline,
everything else in there,
yeah,
and
you gotta know your
there's
source.
a lot of debris in there.
Yeah.
We can leave it where it is and just let the cardboard keep blowing over and absorbing the oil that's
And
still
the-
on the ground, and then we're covered. You know?
Even if there was a couple of poles with netting or in it or something to catch all the paper, because the other windy day, it was just going right across into the power lines, into the train tracks.
Well, I
And
talked to
customers-
Leroy also about if we got a tractor-trailer truck, another tractor-trailer truck bed, because his concern in the wintertime was the mattresses freezing to the ground because
Yeah.
they disassemble them.
Yeah.
And I said, geez, if you put a pallet on the ground instead of stacking mattresses on there and just put them inside of this trailer,
Yeah.
and then took them all out in the spring, it'd be stacked, it'd be organized, it'd be out of the
Ready to go.
way. And so there's a couple of things that we gotta look at down there.
I think that wall replacement and maybe the entranceway was talked about during the CIP committee. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I'd have to look back on my notes, but I thought we had talked about that could probably come out of capital reserve for repair.
I was gonna say there's plenty of money,
I
even
think there's
the
enough
oil tank
money
and
in
stuff
the
like that.
transfer station recycling center
But-
capital reserve, so we need, yeah.
And this
Back on
is
that.
why I told him to put together a report so we can prioritize.
Because I think we
Which
can go
direction?
ahead and fix those, those have been an issue for quite some time,
Yeah.
so,
Good, and then we can get that moving.
yeah.
Somehow we were across the street though at the food pantry, and we got sidetracked
I know.
with that. I'll make a motion to sign the lease for the food pantry.
Second.
Guy goes to any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
While we're on the food pantry item, it was brought to my attention that we did put out to bid for the cutting of the trees down there, but we don't have any bid specs available for the public. So.
Well, I would say, first of all, when you're cutting a house lot, you don't really need bid specs.
Just
I
a
mean-
parameter to stay within, and
It was mentioned I think it was mentioned on the bid that the trees are marked that are to be removed.
Yeah, and I did mention that.
And that the setbacks were flagged in pink, so that, you know, those have to be stayed within. However, I typed up a little something more tonight, elaborate on it, as far as saying, you know, anything hardwood, softwoods under 4 inches in diameter all have to be chipped or removed off-site. And any hardwoods over 4 inches in diameter will be left on site for the town's own benefit. And other than that, all softwoods, and it's a total bid. You just go down there, look at the trees that are standing in there, the ones that are marked, and give us a bid, what you think is out there for board footage, whatever grade you wanna sell it at, and you
Yeah.
think you can make money at.
Yeah.
And that's,
No stump removal or anything like that?
no, because my understanding was, I think he booked out at just the right time.
Yeah, well, somebody's volunteered.
That there might be some
Volunteer.
volunteer time for the stumping of that, I think we talked about
So
that.
this item that you typed up, it could be something that we just,
Could be added
give
to
to
it.
people as they come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to tell them what I think I've marked for timber out there if they wanna know, but I mean,
I was giving your,
Yeah.
your name for
the amount of
people to go out and
timber,
look if they needed to.
the amount of timber is going to vary depending on how it's graded, what the condition of it is, and how they cut it. So it's really hard to pin down a number for each crew, depending on how they manage their cuts and where they market it to. I mean, I can tell them what I marked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're gonna get at the mill, depending on how they cut it, how the mill grades it, and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, the quality of the wood. So they're gonna have to make that determination on their own.
On their own.
And I've got a number in my head that I don't know whether they're, you know,
Mhm.
in the ballpark.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up.
Ralph?
Can they haul the limbs, the brush and stuff over to the transfer station? Because they have a big pile of brush over there.
I don't know why they couldn't, but what I would say is if you're bidding on a project, the obvious thing is to get the most dollar value out of it as you can. So why would you want to take the brush over there and transport when you could chip it and bring it to Pantry Power or somewhere and get some dollar value for it? Or even use it for landscaping, or whatever you want to do. That's why I'm not putting out a specific number, I'm looking for total bid. Because their best utilization of whatever timber they harvest out there is going to be their decision.
Time is of the essence, is that right?
Time is of the essence. One of the things that I did talk to the food pantry about, they'd like it done by June 1st, because they want to be, you know,
Yeah, the bids are due, I believe it's the 18th, for the board to review at your next meeting, on the 23rd.
so we're running a tight schedule there, but that's, you know,
I don't know.
this is a 2 or 3 day job. It's nothing, you know, it's nothing that's going to take them a long time.
The coast bus transportation system, we have that north bus that's in our area that services people to go to Rochester 1 day a week. Well, and that started just about a year ago, and they are now expanding our services, that they'll be in Wakefield on Wednesdays and Fridays, which before was just Wednesdays. And they're adding expansion to their list of destinations. This will now include the Lilac Mall, the Globe Shopping Plaza, the Rochester District Court, and the Rochester Community Center. I think before it was just the Hannaford.
Bring them down to court.
You never know. Hannaford and Walmart and maybe Market Basket before. So
Is there a list of these anywhere?
you can go to,
I just had an older fella that has a lot of issues, concerns, and he was beside himself. He wasn't able to have anything, and I told him that we had some kind of busing system, but I could not tell him where to find that.
well, they can call me if they want. If they don't have access to a computer, they can call me, but the easiest thing to do is to go to the www.south. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. www.coastbus.org/northbus.html. So they could go there. We have
Yeah,
paperwork, we have
supplies,
flyers here, but there are phone numbers, so you can call people to get on the list to find out where they're going. You can buy certain passes.
Well,
for the
the
time.
reason why I asked that is because it wasn't so much for going shopping that they needed to go to the doctors and they could not drive themselves.
Okay.
And I didn't know if that was carried.
We have what's
There is
called the
another
Good
organization for
Shepherd.
that.
We have what's called the Good Shepherd program, which is run by the Congregational Church. Margie Gallagher, I believe, is still the head of that. But you can call the Congregational Church during the day. They always have a receptionist there. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but
And the Good Shepherd is through the
it's through
Congregational
the
Church?
Congregational Church. Yep.
Okay.
And that's what that's for. They do doctors, if you have to go to pharmacy, something like that.
And they're very good, they're
Yep.
excellent program.
Good.
You just have to give them a little bit of notice to
Thank you.
gather the drivers.